Okay, yesterday we were discussing about the two mediums, the reflection and transmission, that is a general case. Okay, so where we have now particular cases need to be discussed. So yesterday we have seen the reflection and transmission. So we have the two mediums where the medium is characterized by sigma 1 epsilon 1 mu 1. Okay, similarly we have the medium 2. Okay, when the wave is travel to the boundary, the normal incidence. Okay, so where that electric field is parallel to the plane, that xy plane. So then some of the portion of the energy which is going to transmit and some of the wave will going to reflect. So that reflection coefficient and the transmission coefficients we have derived here. Okay, so where eta 2 is the intrinsic medium of the intrinsic impedance of the medium 2 and eta 1 is the intrinsic impedance of the medium 1. Okay, and the relation which we have seen, so 1 plus gamma which is equal to the tau, which is the transmission coefficient, and this is the reflection coefficient. Okay, and gamma which lies between 0 to 1. Now let us take a particular case. So whatever we discussed yesterday, it is a general case. So now if we take the particular case where the medium 1, okay, medium 1, so sigma 1, so which is a lossless case, that is if you take the perfect dielectric in the first medium, sigma 1 equal to 0, and if you take the conductor in the second medium, okay, conductor in the second medium where sigma 2 which is taken it as infinity. Okay, so the medium 1 is perfect dielectric and medium 2 is the conductor. Now what happens to in this case? Okay, so since sigma 2 is infinity, so you will going to get the eta 2 which is equal to 0 because of the sigma. We know that eta which is j omega mu by sigma plus j omega epsilon. If you take sigma infinity, so this will going to give the eta 2 value 0 and you will be having some eta 1 value. Okay, so now because of this, if you take the reflection coefficient equation, so this gamma which is equal to eta 2 minus eta 1 divided by eta 2 plus eta 1. Okay, now if I substitute eta 2 which is 0, so we will going to get the gamma, that is reflection coefficient, minus 1, and you are getting transmission coefficient which is 0. Okay, so what actually it represents is, so because of the medium 2 is conductor, so it will completely reflect the signal to the medium 1 itself. Okay, so there is no transmission occurs to the second medium. The whatever the wave which is going to impinge on this interface, it will going to get reflected completely. Okay, so that is a complete reflection happens. So there is no transmitted field which is there in the medium 2, that is E2 which is equal to 0. Okay, so then what happens when the incident wave, so it will reflect the wave, and what happens is here the reflected wave which is actually combines with the incident wave and it will give a new kind of wave or new pattern which is called as standing wave. Okay, so this standing wave is the combination of both incident and the reflected wave. So why it is standing wave? It is called as both this incident and reflected wave combines, and it is showing that it will be something like in the form of standing wave. So if you take the incident wave and reflected wave, so it will going to be in the form of a standing pattern. So that's why it is called as standing wave. Okay, so now if I take the equations for the incident and reflected wave, so that combination of incident and reflected wave which will give it as the standing wave. So if I take EI which is the incident wave, okay, so or in the phasor form if you can take EIS which is equal to EI naught into e power minus gamma 1 z. Okay, so assume that the wave propagation happens in the z direction. Okay, now if I take the reflected wave, that is reflected wave phasor, so that is ER naught into e power plus gamma 1 z, because it is going to reflect in the negative z direction. Okay, so now whatever the amplitude of this electric field component, it is in the x direction that we have assumed yesterday also. Okay, So this both is in the both reflected and incident wave which are in the x direction, the amplitudes of this so electric field. Now if I take the standing wave, so that is if I take the 1s, why? Because the standing wave pattern which occurs in the medium 1 only, because there is no wave which is there in the medium 2. So only the combination of the incident and reflected wave which forms the standing wave pattern which is there in the medium 1. So that's why I am calling it as E1s. Okay. So which is equal to EIS, so incident phasor plus the reflected phasor. Okay. So now this we can write it as EI naught into e power minus gamma 1 z plus ER naught into e power plus gamma 1 z. So this is in the direction of AX. Okay. So now as I said, the gamma which is equal to minus 1. Okay. So that we know already from these parameters. So now we know from the gamma another the relation which is the ratio of the reflected wave to the incident wave. Okay. So that we know. So from the previous discussion, that is reflected wave to the incident wave. So which is equal to minus 1. So the magnitude if I take, so ER naught by EI naught which is equal to minus 1. So what it will implies that, so the magnitudes of the reflected signal which is equal to minus of the incident signal. Okay. So and also we know that in the medium 1, so whatever we have characterized the medium 1, so where we have sigma 1 equal to 0, okay. So assume that there is no attenuation because here it is a perfect dielectric. So that means it is a lossless dielectric. There is no loss happens. So that's why it is alpha 1 which is equal to 0, and we can write this gamma, so 1 which is in the medium, so which is equal to only the phase constant, that is j beta z. So now we can write that standing wave in the medium 1, so in with respect to this parameter, because it exists only the phase constant. So we can write, so and also this ER naught we can write it as minus EI naught. Okay, so that also we can write, or we can so write EI naught in terms of ER naught also. Okay, so if I write that EI naught into e power, so if I replace the gamma 1 which is equal to minus j beta 1 z. Okay, so and ER naught I am replacing it as minus EI naught into e power j beta 1 z. Okay, so this is what the equation, so for the standing wave, and you can also write, so this whatever multiplying 2j both numerator and denominator, so we can write this as a sine of beta 1 z. So if I multiply both, if I take I naught common from both the terms, and if I multiply 2j both numerator and denominator, so you will be left out with e power minus j beta 1 z minus e power plus j beta 1 z. Okay, so this is in the AX direction. So now we can write, so this if I take the minus outside, okay, so minus 2j e naught, that is EI naught, and e power j beta 1 z minus e power minus j beta 1 z divided by 2j. So this we can write in terms of the sine parameter. So we can write that minus 2j EI naught sine of, so beta 1 z in the direction of AX. So this is what your standing wave pattern which represents the sine wave in the form of the sine wave. Okay. So even also we can write the instantaneous value of this, so which is equal to the E1 which is equal to real part of E1s. Okay, so that is a standing wave pattern into e power j omega t. So if I want instantaneous value, we can write like this, or we can write, so or also we can write E1 which is equal to 2 times EI naught, so into sine beta 1 z into, so the cos omega t. Okay, so this is in the direction of AX. So this is also we can write, so the wave, the field in the medium 1. So now, so H1 we can directly find out by using the E1 amplitude, and we can say it as E1 by, so eta 1. Okay, so that is how we can able to represent H1. So we can write H1 also which is equal to 2 times, so that is ei naught in terms of the incident voltage, so divided by eta 1 into cos of beta 1 z into cos omega t, because this E and H are both are perpendicular to each other, so that's why it is coming cos of beta 1 z. So that is in the direction of ay, both E and H which are orthogonal to each other. Now if I take the propagation direction in z direction, okay, so we know that E is in the x direction, so we can find out the magnitude, that is the direction of magnetic field, so which will be in the direction of ay. Okay, so the standing wave, so which we have shown here, you can see this is a standing wave pattern. So where we will be having the maximum and minimum values, so for a particular value of the time instant, so you can, or we can represent in terms of the lambda. So where we have the amplitudes which is 2 E naught and minus 2 E naught, because both the incident and reflected wave amplitudes adds together and it is giving 2 times E naught. Okay, so and also you can write the wave the maximum amplitudes and minimum amplitudes, so where we have here, so for every lambda by 2 it will going to give the null. Okay, and where we have the maximum amplitudes at lambda by 4. So if I take the particular frequency of operation, we can find out what is the lambda and we can write. So generally in terms of lambda only the standing wave patterns will going to write. Okay, so now, so if I take the whatever the case where the eta 1 and eta 2 and so some reflection coefficient, if I take some particular case, so if eta 1 and eta 2, so if I take the case 1, okay, where gamma which is greater than 0, okay, so again, so if we have some reflection, gamma is greater than 0 means it is, the medium is not homogeneous, that means the medium it is not matching to reduce the reflection or nil the reflection. So the gamma is 0 in the sense the medium is homogeneous, there is no disturbance so at the interface. Okay, so if gamma is greater than 0, then there will be some reflection. Okay, so based on this gamma value, how much reflection it is happening, we can able to know. So against the standing wave, the pattern will come in medium 1. Okay, so because of the reflection and the incident wave, and there is no transmitted wave in the medium 2. But however, the incident and reflected waves which have amplitudes, so both are not equal amplitudes, but their magnitude combined to each other and it will give the standing wave magnitude. Okay, so and the maximum value of that E1 can be, so whatever in the medium 1, the maximum value of E1, because when the wave travels in the medium, so if I take the lossless case, so that will be the same amplitude, because the lossless case is, so it will be having the same amplitude of the both reflected and the incident wave. But whenever we take the lossy case, so then there will be a reduction in the amplitude. Okay, so now this maximum of this E1, so whatever the maximum value of this the standing wave pattern occurs, so that will be in terms of the beta 1. So this can be occurred at the minus beta 1 times of Z max, wherever the impedance value of the impedance of the medium maximum, so that will occur, so the maximum of E1, so that occurs at every pi value. Okay, so this is the not eta, so it is a n is numerical number, n equal to 0, 1, 2, we can able to put it. So we can write where actually the Z max value which will going to get, so that is minus n pi by beta 1. So if I know beta 1 for n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, so we can able to find out what is the value of the maximum value, and also we can able to find out the minimum value. So where we can able to find out minimum value of impedance, so that will be equal to 2n plus 1 into n pi times, or we can find out Z minimum value which is equal to 2n plus 1 into n pi times divided by beta 1. So these are all the maximum impedance and minimum impedance, where we have here So similar like the voltages, so from those equation we can able to find out the impedance maximum and wherever the impedance minimum. So generally here, so in this case, so since it is having the minimum value 0, but in this case, so the wave actually looks like this. Okay, so it will be some having some minimum value of the impedance. So like this. So this is the minimum value where so we will going to get, and maximum value we will going to get. Okay. So that is the impedance relations. And here if you have to concentrate here the magnetic field, okay, the H1. So this is E1 occurs, and similarly the H1 maximum and minimum. Okay, so wherever the E1 maximum occurs, so there it will be H1 minimum value. Okay, so H1 is minimum where E1 is maximum. So in the standing wave pattern, so H1, the minimum value of H1 occurs where the E1 is maximum. Okay, and it will be vice versa, where E1 minimum occurs, the H1 will go maximum. Okay, so that you need to note down in this standing wave pattern. And also the transmitted wave in the medium 2, so it is a purely traveling wave, and it consequently there is no maxima minima, because so in this case there is no transmitted wave at all. Okay, so that's why there is no so maxima and minima in that medium 2 region. So now we can define the, even we have defined the VSWR in terms of the standing wave ratio also we can define. So that is, so in terms of the reflection coefficient, that is 1 plus gamma minus 1 minus gamma. So this is which will be called it as the voltage standing wave ratio, VSWR. Okay, and also it is actually defined it as E1 max divided by E1 min, the maximum voltage to the minimum voltage. Okay, so whatever minimum which is there, so maximum to minimum voltage which will going to have the voltage standing wave ratio. This is the null, and where we have the minimum and maximum, so the ratio of that minimum value and maximum value will get the VSWR, that is voltage standing wave ratio. And it is in terms of the reflection coefficient we can write, so this is the equation. Okay, and we can write the reflection coefficient in terms of the standing wave ratio, which is S plus 1 divided by S minus 1. So if I take this side and we can manipulate the equation, we will going to get the equation, the gamma, equation for gamma in terms of the standing wave ratio. Okay, so now if you take the gamma, that is the range of gamma, which is always 0 to 1. Now if I substitute here minimum value, gamma is 0, so S will be always the value of 1. And similarly, so the maximum value, if I put the value of gamma as 1, so it will go to infinity. So the standing wave ratio, it lies between 1 to infinity, and your reflection coefficient lies between 0 to 1. And if you want to find out the standing wave ratio in terms of dB, so this should be in terms of 20 log S. So this is the dB value of the VSWR. Okay, so this is how we will going to find out the VSWR in terms of reflection coefficient, and also the maximum and minimum value of the E1, the electric field intensity in the medium 1, where the standing wave pattern happens. Okay, so because the medium 2 is completely reflecting the wave to the medium 1 at the interface, there is no wave in the medium 2. Okay, so this is what the standing wave pattern and the standing wave ratio, that is VSWR. So is it understood? Any doubt in this? Anybody? Hello, any doubt? So if you don't have any clarification, we will do one problem based on this normal incidence, 1 or 2 problems. Okay, so we will take the problem. Okay, So a 5 gigahertz uniform plane wave, take this problem, so write it down and try to solve. Uniform plane wave EIS, which is given equal to 10 into e power minus j beta z in the direction of AX volt per meter. Okay, so in free space is incident normally on the large plane or on a large plane, lossless dielectric. So you can note here it is in terms of only beta, so that's why it is a lossless dielectric. You can note down that lossless dielectric slab which is Z greater than 0 having epsilon equal to 4 times epsilon naught and mu equal to mu naught. Find the reflected wave. Okay, find the reflected wave ERS and the transmitted wave ETS. Okay, so you need to find out the transmitted and reflected wave. So you can see here, so we can write the solution. The incident wave, so the wave propagation, it is along the z direction, you can see here. So the wave propagation is along z direction where z greater than 0, so it is having the epsilon which is equal to 4 epsilon naught, mu equal to mu naught. Okay, and the medium 1 is the free space. Okay, so that is, it is given medium 1 free space. Okay, so now we have to find out, so the wave is incident here, that is given EIS. Now we have to find out what is ERS and ETS. Okay, so now, so in the medium 1, since it is a free space, okay, so the eta 1 which will be equal to free space impedance, so that is, so which is equal to eta naught, which is nothing but 120 pi. So the free space impedance which we have seen already, so where we have epsilon r equal to 1, mu r equal to 1, if we substitute that, we will going to get eta 1. Okay, root of mu by epsilon. Okay, so now for eta 2, so we have root of mu by epsilon, but epsilon and mu which are different value, so mu r equal to 1 and mu equal to mu naught. Okay, so that is mu naught divided by, so epsilon is 4 times epsilon naught. Okay, so that is what the eta 2, so which is equal to, so now we can try to find out what is, so since it is mu naught by epsilon naught is nothing but eta 1. Okay, so this we can replace root of mu naught by epsilon naught and square root of 1 by 4, we can write it as 1 by 2 into eta 1. So because mu naught by epsilon naught is same as mu e naught 1, eta 1, sorry. Okay, so this is nothing but eta 1 by 2, the eta 2 which is nothing but eta 1 by 2. So now we have to find out what is the reflected wave. Okay, so how to find out reflected wave? So we know that reflected wave ERS, okay, so which is, so the ratio of ERS by EIS which is equal to gamma, the reflection coefficient, right? So that reflection coefficient we can find out in terms of the intrinsic impedance, that we know eta 2 minus eta 1 divided by eta 2 plus eta 1. So now we can put the value of eta 2 in terms of eta 1, so that is eta 1 by 2 minus eta 1 divided by eta 1 by 2 plus eta 1. So you can take eta 1 outside, both in numerator and denominator. So in the numerator it is half minus 1, in the denominator half plus 1. Okay, so now what is the value of gamma? It is, so minus half divided by 3 by 2, which is equal to minus 1 by 3. So this is what the reflection coefficient which we got. Okay, so now ERS, which is equal to the gamma times EIS, that is minus 1 by 3 times EIS. Okay, so now we can write ERS, so in terms of the EIS value. So EIS, if I replace whatever it is given here, so now I am going to get the minus 10 by 3 into e power minus j beta z in the direction of AX. Okay, so now we can see EX, so here the reflected wave, again it is in the direction which is in the negative z direction. Okay, so that we need to write plus e power j beta z, because it is going in the negative z direction. So this is what the ERS. So and also this beta, which is nothing but beta 1, because it is reflecting in the first medium, so that's why it is beta 1z. And here also this we can write it as e power beta 1z, because it is in the medium 1. Okay, now we need to find out what is the transmitted wave. Okay, so for that we need to again know the relation between the ET, the transmitted wave, and the incident wave. Okay, so now we know that ET as the transmitted wave to the incident wave, which is nothing but the transmitter coefficient, that is transmission coefficient, which is nothing but 1 plus gamma, that is 1 plus reflection coefficient. Now we know reflection coefficient value 1 minus 1 by 3, so which will give 2 by 3. Okay, so now we can find out what is the ETS, so which is ETS, which is equal to the whatever 2 by 3 times EIS. Okay, so which we can replace EIS 2 by 3 into 10 into e power minus j beta 2z, because beta 2 it is in the medium 2. Okay, so that you need to be careful in the direction of AX. So the orientation of the electric field is in the x direction, but the propagation is in the positive z direction. So that should be 20 by 3 into e power minus j beta 2 z in the direction of AX. So this is what ETS. Okay, so now we need to find out what is beta 2, because we don't know what is beta 2, and beta 1, which is nothing but omega into root of mu naught into epsilon naught, because it is a free space. Okay, so that free space we can write omega by c. Okay, and we can put it the omega, because it is the frequency which is given 2 pi into 5 into 10 power 9 giga, that is 5 gigahertz, divided by 3 into 10 power 8. So this is the value of beta 1, and we can find out beta 2, which is equal to omega into mu naught mu r, and then epsilon r epsilon naught. So in the medium 2, so it is characterized mu, which is nothing but mu naught, and this epsilon r value, which is 4, which is given 4 times epsilon. So that is what the medium 2 which is given. So this we can write omega by c, because the root of mu naught epsilon naught we can write 1 over c into square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so this will give 2 into 2 pi into omega, it is 5 into 10 power 9, that is 5 gigahertz, divided by 3 into 10 power 8. So this is what your beta 2. So find out what is the value of beta 1 and beta 2. So anybody done? What is the value of beta 1 and beta 2? Find out the values. Anybody find out?
1.47.
1.47. Beta 1?
Yes, sir. 10.47, 10 power minus 1. It's 1.47.
1.47 into? Is there any power or simply 1.47?
Sir, 1.47 itself.
Okay, so beta 2 it is half of that, I think, double of that. Okay, so beta 1 1.47 radians per meter, and you can so find out beta 2, it is 2 times,
2.94, sir.
yeah, 2.94 radians per meter. So this is the values beta 1 and beta 2. Okay, so now, so this is how we can able to find out the incident from the incident wave, how the we can able to calculate how the reflected wave and then transmitted wave. Okay, so take another one, the problem. A uniform plane wave in air, so is normally incident on an infinite lossless dielectric material having epsilon naught equal to, say epsilon equal to 3 epsilon naught and mu equal to mu naught. Okay, so if the incident wave is EI, which is equal to 10 into cos of omega t minus z in the direction of AY volt per meter. Now find lambda and omega, okay, of the wave, lambda and omega of the wave in air and the transmitted wave in dielectric medium. So second one, find out the incident H field. Okay, so they have given only the incident E field, so find out incident H field. Okay, and finally find out the reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient. So both of these you need to find out, and then okay, so this you can able to find out. So try to find out. So EI is given, HI, how you will going to find out HI? So we can use the equation which is E by eta. So since EI is given, we can take the EI naught the magnitude of the incident wave, divided by eta 1, that is the intrinsic impedance in the medium 1, so that you will going to get incident field. And what is the direction of the HI? That is incident magnetic field. So since the propagation is in the Z direction and E is in the Y direction, so obviously the magnetic field should be in the X direction. So find out whether it is in the negative X direction or positive X direction by unit vectors, by taking these unit vectors. So you can find out, so the wave propagation is in plus Z direction and the electric field is in Y direction, so then you can get the magnetic field in the minus AX direction. So that you can find out what is the value of HI. So find out the eta 1. So where we have here the first medium is air and second medium is characterized by mu equal to mu naught and epsilon equal to 3 epsilon. Okay, that is how we got. So now we need to find out what is the lambda and omega in the air medium, that is medium 1. So now we can see, so if you see the incident wave, okay, so since it is in the medium 1, the beta value is 1. You can see omega t minus beta z. So from this we can get the beta value which is equal to 1, that is in the medium 1. Okay. So from this beta 1 we can able to find out what is lambda, which is 2 pi by beta 1. Okay, so that we can write, so 2 pi by 1 which is equal to 2 pi, so meters. So you can multiply the value of pi and you will going to get 2 pi meters. So that is what lambda, and we can find out omega which is equal to beta divided by c, or beta we know that it is omega by c. So omega you can so write it as, what is the okay, beta is nothing but omega by c, and omega we can so calculate by using beta into c, beta 1 into c. So which is beta 1 we have find out, so which is equal to 1 into c, so it is same as the omega which is equal to 3 into 10 power 8. Okay, so this is what again, so omega radians per second, 3 into 10 power 8 radians per second. So now we can find out lambda 2 also, beta 2 also in the second medium. So where we have the characterization is given of the medium characteristics. We can able to find out similarly lambda 2 and the omega 2 in the second region. Okay. So can anybody tell what is the lambda 2 and beta 2? So beta 2 we can, so omega into, so omega 2 into mu naught 3 times, so because mu and epsilon, mu equal to mu naught and epsilon naught is 3 times epsilon naught. So this we can write, okay, so since the omega is same, so we can write the same whatever omega 1 which is equal to omega 2. So since okay, so in the yeah, so since here the dielectric medium is there, so it is lossless. Omega is same in both the medium 1 and medium 2, so we can take this as it is equal to omega 2, and we can write that same thing 3 into 10 power 8, and this one, so root of mu naught epsilon naught we can take it as divided by c into root 3. So then it will get cancel each other. So here, so beta 2 is nothing but root 3. So that is the value of beta 2. So find out that beta 2 value, and lambda 2 based on this beta 2 we are going to get, so 2 pi by root 3. So this is what lambda 2. Okay, so now we can find out the hi. As I said, it is nothing but ei, so the magnitude of hi naught, which is nothing but the magnitude of ei naught, so divided by eta 1. So since it is in the air, so eta 1 which is equal to 120 pi, and ei naught which is given it as 10. Okay, so find out the value of hi naught, and you can write h1, the incident magnetic field in medium 1, which is equal to, so hi naught into the cos of omega t minus z, so that is in the direction of minus ax. So find out the hi naught value and put it here. So that is what the incident magnetic field. So what is the value of HI naught?
0.0126, sir.
0.0126.
Yes, 0.026, sorry.
Okay, 0.
0.0265.
Okay, 0.0265.
5.
So this is ampere per meter. So that you put this value here. So we can write H1 which is equal to minus 0.0265 cos of omega t minus z in the direction of AX. Okay. So now we can find out what is the reflection coefficient and the transmission coefficient. So which we know eta 2 minus eta 1 divided by eta 2 plus eta 1. Eta 1 is nothing but air, which is equal to 120 pi, and eta 2 we have to find out by using the characteristics given. Okay, so eta 2 which is equal to root of mu by epsilon, so which is equal to mu naught by 3 times epsilon naught, which is equal to eta 1 by root 3. So that is what we will going to get. So if you substitute that one, we will going to get eta 1 by root 3 minus eta 1 divided by eta 1 by root 3 plus eta 1. So this will give 1 by root 3 minus 1 by root 3 plus 1. What is the value? You can find out. 1 minus root 3 divided by 1 plus root 3. What is the value of gamma?
Sir, minus 0.2679.
Okay, so this is the value of gamma, and if you take the 1 plus gamma, you will going to get the transmission coefficient. So 1 plus minus of 0.267 is, so 1 minus 1 minus 0.267, so we will going to get the transmission coefficient, which is 1 plus gamma, so which is around 0.7 something. One minus 0.267, how much?
0.736, sir.
Okay, 0.73.
2733 something.
Okay, so we can take this value. So this is the transmission coefficient. So that is how you need to find out the values of this transmission coefficient, reflection coefficient, and all other values. So you will going to calculate these values, and you will going to get lambda and so omega values. So if you have any queries, you can ask. Any doubt in this problem? Okay, then we will stop here. We will continue some more problems in the next class.